So, we are here to talk about languages. And not
And
only that.
communication.
Yes!
And first, I have to say, I'm so excited, and so is Tereska, actually.
Look at me, I'm so red.
Yeah, but we dressed for it, so that was, the energetic memo to dress in red today, apparently.
Mm.
So, where do I start? There are so many places we could go to. Um, I just love languages, and so does Tereska, actually. And I have been into that from the very first day on this planet, this lifetime at least, and probably other lifetimes too. and and communication in general, and
Mm.
how. And I was brought up in three cultures, languages at home, and that gave me the taste of, you know, jumping from one language to another, mixing them, um, discovering different energies, because every language, every culture has its own scope of energies, and it's not limited, of course. But every language has its own flavor, and one language can also have very different flavors because it's taken at the other end of the planet, and it's spoken elsewhere, and it gets other flavors and its influence. It's so rich, so organically moving and evolving, and each one of us, we kind of create our own language too. It's
Mm.
like um we I don't know why I'm talking about that. That's it's like we have our own vocabulary, we have a way of saying things, we have our way to convey our messages. And the thing is, in this reality, we are told that some languages are good and others are bad, some are easy, some are difficult,
Mm.
some are right and some are wrong, and some are dead and some you know, and some should be, and we should have a universal language. And there've been so many attempts to that, and
Mm.
um, languages are created, like, Duolingo. On Duolingo, you can even learn, what's the name again? Um,
Esperanto.
no,
No.
yes, too, but I mean from no, from Star Trek, Klingon. You
Ah,
can, is it Star
wow.
Trek? You can even learn Klingon on Duolingo. Can you imagine that? So
Mm.
the language is always inspired, so many creators, and kids are creating their own secret language, and, there are all sorts of things. So it's something very playful, and it's been, oops, sorry, little reminder. Uh, um, what was I saying before my ka-ching
It,
here?
that it's
Yeah,
something very playful.
yeah, it's something very playful, and it's made into something hard, difficult,
Mm.
that you have to learn at school, and you have to have grades, and um, all sorts of points of view, judgments, ideas, and then you end up like, oh, it's difficult. I can't speak that language. I don't understand that language. And
Mm.
in fact, there is something different possible with that.
Yeah, and when you say, actually, I'm just realizing how when we say I don't understand that language, how we shut off, shut the doors completely. But is it really true? Because language, as you were saying, it just includes way more than just vocabulary, grammar, and accent, the whole culture and history, and even more when you go into the energies. And I remember when I was little, I loved just observing people from other countries, and their way of, even if I didn't understand their words, I knew that they br- were like bringing something different,
Yeah,
you know, with them, and they were looking at things differently. So for
yeah,
me, it was like for you, always a place of play and wonder and beauty. I actually find every language beautiful, no matter, how they say, for example, oh, German, like don't sing German, or some people don't like German. For me, it's beautiful. I
yeah.
love, I love it, Mm,
And having this background, I it led me to create this specialty with the access
mm,
tools called More Ease with Languages and Communication, because it appeared in classes very early on that people came for languages, but it ended up being something around communication, because at the heart of language there is communication.
mm,
And so that's all of it, and more than just, music is also a language, dance is also a language, nature has its own languages, everything has its own way of communicating, and underlying all of this, it's just energy. So when we say we can't do this or we don't understand that, as you said, we are cutting off a possibility that is innate, that is there, because we are energy and we speak energy. Whatever way we do it, we use different sounds or gestures or frequencies or whatever, but in the end, it's all about energy.
yeah. And one of the things that we talk about quite often now in at access classes is engagement with one another, and that's mostly energy as well, basically
Yeah,
energetic engagement. Mm,
yeah. And you say that, and it reminds me one of the first weird, well, I say it's one of the first, but it's probably not, but one of the first weird language thing or communication thing I did was talking to my cells, this in my body, and I did that and I said that so naturally, and people were looking at me. I was like, what is she doing? She's talking to herself. Is she crazy? But, today, when I had the access tools on top of this, it was like, of course. I mean, we can communicate with everything and anything, with the whole universe. And that's also how I realized how much communication was a small constricted version of communion.
mm,
Because communication is really this thing. I don't know how it is in other countries, but
mm,
in Belgium, in secondary school, at university, and any courses I've done around this, when you learn communication, is that you have somebody emitting a message, somebody receiving a message, so two separate entities, let's say, and you have to complete the dots between point A and point B so that communication can occur.
mm,
And then you look at all the things that that are impediments to communication. But if you look at this differently and say, oh, wow, actually, we're all infinite beings, and just by being, we already communicate. It's actually
mm,
communion. So this whole thing of needing to connect the dots and have a common language, blah, 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 is just bullshit.
mm.
So if we allow ourselves to access this universal language of energy and yes, learn to use the tools of this reality, like a language like, French or Slovak or Chinese or Russian or I don't know. It's like, putting different clothes on, you know.
And I
It's like,
love to dress
and you
differently.
love to dress.
Differently, and use that also as a way of communicating.
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
Mm,
And so I go back to my Maurice and with languages and
yes.
communication story. And I did classes and classes, and it was fun and it was awesome, and people were happy. And I had people who had difficulty with languages, and I had translators, and I had all sorts of people coming. I had also families who had, kids with autism and wanted to have a better communication in the family. There were all sorts of reasons officially to get to class, and it created every time something wonderful. And I asked questions, say, where am I going with this? So I talked to this specialty basically, and it was like, go everywhere. I can't do this on my own. And I like to play with someone, and that's when I invited Tereska to consider, and she considered, and she said yes.
Yeah. It was like right at that moment. Then. Mm. And I'm actually, yeah, I'm so curious and excited. I participated or I translated your classes, Maurice, with languages and communication multiple times. And that's one of the things, as you were saying, that it is about languages and communication, and we go into unexpected places and as far as we would like, actually. So I'm very, very happy and grateful that I have this possibility of contributing also. And we're going to start very soon, actually.
We are starting exactly in 6 days.
Hmm. This is going to be as a celebration of this different, chapter era and launch of collaboration. We are doing a tour, an online tour of this series called Speak Around the Universe. And those are, you know, 1.5 to 2 hour long intros online, and where we will talk about and use the tools of Maurice with languages and communication.
Yeah. And it's like inviting, I mean, we are so happy that we plan on celebrating for a long time.
Mm.
So come join us, and what else are you capable of that you have never considered with this, with all of this, with languages, with communication, and what else? And yeah, and what surprises could you, what surprises could you get about yourself,
Come get a taste.
Yeah, yeah. So this is official, Tereska. We are doing this together,
Mm.
and we are going to be doing things together. You are going to be doing classes on your own. I will be doing classes on my own, and but this is going to be a universe of
Play.
play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Awesome. So if you guys have any questions, please reach out to us. If you would like to organize an intro in your language, reach out to us as well. We would love to play. And what are the infinite possibilities, basically?
Yeah. And maybe we can talk a little bit about the process of creation of this particular celebration tour. Is
Yes.
that in the beginning we thought, oh, we are going to focus on a language, and then we go
Hmm.
to every, and then there was something wonky about it. It's like, but are we excluding the others? Maybe others would like to play with us, and blah, blah, blah. And then we realized that we were, facilitating each other together, whatever. And we realized, why would we exclude anyone? So the idea was to go energetically sweep the world and reap all the beauties and peculiarities and richness of each part of the world with their language. So we kind of have this energy to start with, but of course, everybody can enjoy that and everybody can share that. And for this first celebration, we have already like five or
We have
six
six
languages. Yes,
languages.
six
Yeah, we have
languages.
Croatian, we have Czech, we have Estonian, we have French and Romanian and Spanish.
Yahoo!
Yes,
And what else?
totally. Very excited about what other languages will, join
Yeah,
in other
yeah,
intros as well. And yeah, as you were saying, the idea actually popped from the, around the world in 80 days,
yeah,
Gilles Verne.
yeah,
And it's wonderful to allow yourself the space with the creation, asking questions, because there is still something from the seed of the idea of
yeah,
this around the world, which is the adventure, the play, and the, something that's never been here before. And it just keeps evolving
yeah,
into something different. So it's also just this has already shown me so much about creation, and when we allow ourselves to go beyond form and structure, which is
yeah,
also the language, right? Beyond form and structure of the language, what can we actually access together?
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for the tools and for you to join me and for what we can create together. And when I tap into the future with this thing, it's like,
Me too, Katyusha, me too.
and by the way, this is one of the nine trannies.
Yeah.
So it's it's like very exciting because we are starting to really get to be that more and more, and to allow ourselves to be that, to be more than the limitations and the limited version of languages, but be something way beyond that.
Mhm.
And what can that create when you are being a language rather than speaking a language? What can that create for the people you are communicating with when you are this expanded version of language, and
Mm.
that includes actually everything, and maybe your mouth says particular word in a particular language, but actually you speak with all your energy, and how much can you enrich every people's world through communication being this.
Yeah. What if actually languages and communication have not even been, we have not even started properly discovering of what's possible with that.
Mm.
So if you would like to join us in this adventure of um, being more of you, accessing your capacities, your inner capacities, just like transliteration, then we'll see you somewhere online or in the world.
Yay!
Thank you so much, Katyusha, and thank you,
Thank you,
everyone.
Tereska.
Have
And
an
thank you,
amazing day.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.